Now it's time for the worst of the week. This week's worst of the week is, as happens occasionally in this segment, a movie that I had never heard of before and which I am certain you had never heard of before. It's amazing to me that these movies continue to come out that I just have no idea about. But I mean, I guess so many movies come out every year that there are going to be tons you just don't even know are out there. And I suppose because at a time I was the sort of nerd who was watching trailers on the internet all the time, who really had their finger on the pulse of the movies that were coming out, that now that I find in my old age that when a movie comes out that I have never heard of, it surprises me. And the movie I'm talking to you about today is a movie called Little Italy. Now, you could be forgiven if the first thing you think about Little Italy is that this is a movie that takes place in, like, New York. You could be forgiven for thinking that because it's called Little Italy. Not so. This movie is inexplicably Canadian and takes place in the Little Italy of, I think, Toronto, which may have you saying, is Little Italy in Toronto? I mean, I guess. And you would be correct to say that, because why? Why not just set it in New York? Why call it Little Italy? Why invite these sort of comparisons to begin with? The movie doesn't know, and nor do I. The movie stars Hayden Christensen, yes, the, I think, unfairly maligned actor from the Star Wars prequels who played the whiny, sand-hating Anakin Skywalker on his trip to becoming a petulant Darth Vader. Hayden Christensen, when you watch those movies, when you watch the Star Wars prequel trilogy, at least I look at them and I say, you know, this isn't really this guy's fault. It's a job. He is reading the lines that George Lucas wrote for him to read. He is giving a performance that George Lucas's director is asking him to give. Yes, it sucks, but you can hardly blame Hayden. And so I am all for a movie wherein Hayden gets to stretch his muscles a little bit and show, hey, I'm not such a lousy actor. Little Italy, I am sorry to say, Hayden is not that movie. But again, it's also sort of not his fault because the movie's script and plot and directing are so pedestrian to sucky that you can hardly blame the poor guy for having found himself caught up not only in this inexplicably Canadian film, but in a plot that is Romeo and Juliet at a set of warring pizza parlors where he and his girlfriend work for their respective families at, well, warring pizza restaurants, and which is also trying very hard to be a Canadian-Italian version of My Big Fat Greek Wedding with lots of fun Italian stuff happening in it, all, of course, culminating at a big pizza cook-off competition. This movie is lousy and stupid and insulting to your intelligence. Nothing fun or romantic or interesting happens in it. Really, the only interesting things about this movie are that it is inexplicably in Canada, and the bizarreness of trying to do Romeo and Juliet with pizza. Little Italy, 1.5 stars.